Let's cough.
So many movies, no time to watch them all. But Twig wants to see them, so we gave Twig a call. Now they're bringing on the friends, and together they will view these. So sit back and relax. It's Twigs Missing Movies.
Hello, and welcome to Twigs Missing Movies, a show dedicated to watching the movies that Twig inexplicably hasn't seen. I'm your host, Drafrig, and here is our cinematically clueless crow, Corvus Twig.
Yay! It's Spooky Month!
It's Spooky Month!
Spooky,
Happy Halloween!
Spooky, happy Halloween! Yes, it's the best. It's the best month of the year. It's we got all sorts of fun stuff going on. We got orchards and spookiness.
We got corn mazes. We got pumpkin mazes. We got
pumpkin
seeds, pumpkin spice everything, which is really just
it's a mix.
Ginger and nutmeg.
Ginger, nutmeg, cinnamon, and allspice.
Yeah. It's not. I mean, it's pie spice, guys. I hate to bring it to you. It's not pumpkin. It's not. You associate with pumpkin pie, but it's also the same stuff that's in a good apple pie.
Well, it's actually a really nice, tasty, and pretty healthy treat. Is you take an apple and you slice it up into thin slices. Then you take a little container of the pumpkin spice mix and you sprinkle that on your apples, and delicious.
Yeah. No, I know this recipe. Yeah, I love this recipe actually.
Yeah, I mean, simple, healthy. Okay, recommend.
Why is my hat?
Because everybody, we decided to do some costumes this month because spooky.
And I don't know if you guys know this, but ravens' heads were not designed for putting cute things on top of. Maybe flowers, but hats definitely not. We don't have the hat shapes. I
mean, I have lots of hats that fit me pretty nicely.
Prove it.
Okay. Okay. How about a cowboy hat? You can give me a little cowboy hat. We're just gonna get that to the right size, and there we go.
It's not on your head properly.
Oh, it's on my head properly.
Who lied to you?
I mean,
they did that. How much did they sell it to you for?
I stole this hat. Look, I think this hat's sitting on my head pretty good. I don't know. My hat's sitting on my head a lot better. Maybe it's just because ravens can, but crows can.
No, we have the same head shape. We have the same head shape.
Round. Yeah.
Yeah, round.
Yeah, but
like my belly.
This month though, it's gonna be pretty much all Twigs Missing Movies this month, followed by the spooktacular at the end of it. But won't be doing any Sunday Dusk episodes this month. But I feel like if I tried, it'd be something, like a late night talk show with the devil or something.
I know him. I can get him for you.
I mean, how many demon VTubers do we know? Quite a few.
Oh, I wasn't talking about VTubers.
Oh, well, yeah. I'm pretty sure Satan's a VTuber.
If he were, where he at?
Well,
why ain't he the biggest?
Maybe Iron Mouse is the devil. We don't know that.
Wrong.
I think Iron Mouse.
Iron Mouse is an angel.
No, don't insult Iron Mouse like that.
Look,
you're talking to somebody who interprets the Bible as Lucifer being the good guy and God is the evil one.
She's an angel.
Okay, fine. K-Son is the devil. I don't know. I don't care.
I love how we go from Iron Mouse to K-Son.
Well,
that's the logical leap.
That's for sure.
Is that your final answer?
Sure.
The devil is Hasho Marine.
Maybe.
Think about it.
Maybe.
Hot, sexy, has an unbelievable amount of money put into the arts, where she's furtherly hot and sexy. Always talking about, sinful things, wanting sinful things. And, I mean, have you heard her? Very silver-tongued. Very, very silver-tongued, in my opinion.
I mean, I kind of see it. I see it.
Yeah. See? Exactly. Everyone in chat's probably going to be roasting me, but it's Hasho Marine, and I'm here for it.
Well, they're going to be roasting you because you're saying Hasho instead of Hosho.
Hasho.
It's Housshou, right?
Hasho.
Tojo.
I'm just gonna bury my talons in here and keep saying it like this.
Well,
Just
we
piss
should talk
everyone
about
off.
the movie instead.
No, that makes sense, Corvus. Wait, you expect this is a podcast of some kind related to movies?
It's not a podcast. You're not gonna be able to download this on Apple.
I don't know. We're two white dudes talking about movies. I
Yeah,
mean,
but it's not available.
we hit all the markers. If it
I mean,
walks, let it talk.
I
If it walks,
suppose someone could go to the YouTube video, use one of those extensions that lets you download a YouTube video as an MP3, and then they could put that MP3 on a mobile device and listen to it that way. So, yeah, if someone wants to go through the work, they could make a podcast.
if it walks like a crow, it talks like a crow. It's actually probably some other corvid. Magpie.
Okay.
But that is an interesting thing to bring up, that we actually have to talk about the movie, because it's kind of getting late into the show, don't you think?
Yeah. Late night.
Late night.
And the conversation is with the devil, So.
Yeah, no. Well, I mean, okay, so you're just gonna say the name.
The
then.
movie's Late Night with the Devil.
Yeah. with our guest Kyria, who you can see their name down below. This is actually a relatively new movie, and one that I haven't seen myself. So I know nothing about it outside of the fact that it came out in March of this year. Has a bunch of casts that I have never heard of. Names such as David Malkian, Ingrid Torelli, Laura Gordon, Ian Bliss, Georgina Haig, Faisal Bazi, Riz Ottery. Again, names I've never heard of in the film scene. So it's a relatively it's all new. Produced and put out on Shudder, I believe.
I know David Desmalchian. He's been in a bunch of stuff.
What's he been in?
Oppenheimer, Dune, Suicide Squad.
What's that? I have not seen Oppenheimer yet.
He was in Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Was it? Wait, who was he in? Who was he in Suicide Squad? Suicide Squad.
He was Polka Dot Man.
That's that is right. I'm looking at a picture of him. That's who he was. Yep, that makes sense.
Yeah. So
I thought he was great.
He's not a huge name actor, but he's one of those people that you're like, oh, I've seen that guy.
Yeah, I feel like thinking about his performance as Polka Dot Man, I feel like I could trust him to perform a role or two. Yeah. I feel like he could be an actor. He's an actor.
Yeah.
Let's see. So, I mean, again, not much for me to talk about because I don't know anything about it. All I remember is that when it came out, a few of my friends saw it on Shudder and they were raving about it and they were trying to get me to watch it. But at the time I was like, I'm busy with other things. And now that I think back about it, I don't remember what those other things were or are anymore. So, I mean, I have my excuse. What's your excuse? Why haven't you seen this film, Corvus?
Because it came out recently and I haven't gotten around to it yet.
If we're on a backlog of 1,000 movies, I think I can forgive this one a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, come on, the movie's not even a year old yet. It's pretty understandable why I haven't seen this one yet. But as soon as I heard about it, I knew I wanted to see it. And then, back when Kyria was on Sunday Dusk, I'm like, hey, we're doing this Twigs Missing Movie things. I want to have you on, but you got to come in October so we can do a horror movie. Because if you remember, about a year ago, Kyria was on Sunday Dusk, and instead of doing the little quiz game at the end, we talked about what was new at the time movie Megan. And Kyria and I had a grand old time talking about Megan, and I feel like we're just going to kind of do the same thing again this year, except with this movie. And except you're going to be around. Yeah,
and I don't know about you, but I hope that this movie is a lot better than Megan was.
I liked Megan. Megan was not necessarily a good movie, but it was fun.
It was fun, but I just kept thinking, wow, this could I don't know. I don't like Uncanny Valley robot horror,
Yeah, fair.
It was a movie I just could not get into. I understand that it's fun, it's goofy, there's that whole fucking dance scene.
Well, I have a feeling that this movie is going to be similar, where this is not going to be straight up a scary horror movie, but the oh god, things have just gone batshit insane, and this is over the top, hilarious
So,
kind of horror movie.
so what do you know about the movie? Because
Well,
I only know what I've seen from the one trailer.
well, I know that it takes place in the 1970s, and I
Okay.
know that it's shot as a late night talk show, and that the
Oh
guests
no.
on there, things get a little paranormal, and that, you know, well, the devil shows up or something like that. But that's I know. I mean, that's the basic premise of it. I don't know the details of what happens.
Yeah, that's about what I understand to happen. Personally, it looks like it's gonna be batshit crazy shit going on. Everything just ramping up
Yep.
throughout the entire movie. But now see, now I'm predicting things because I don't get to do this. This is so weird to me. I don't get to predict things often on the show. I
Yeah.
think I've only actually gotten to do it once.
I mean,
That's
should we
now.
do like a double predictions this
I feel
time?
like we should. I feel like to make up for the fact that this is so new and this content segment was so short, that we should both make predictions.
Okay, well, let's bring up the predictions. Okay, so a prediction. I predict. Okay, do we think that the entire movie is going to be shot through the TV cameras and that it's only going to be what the TV cameras see, or are we going to see
I think
other
I
behind the
think it's going to be
scenes?
both. I think it's going to be shot from the view of the cameraman and from like a dramatic, following camera, like not like a documentary camera, but like a regular cinematic camera would shoot a scene.
Okay, okay. So, hmm.
I think it's going to be like that hybrid. You know what
All
I'm
right.
saying?
Mix of in-universe cameras, not cameras,
Gamera, the monster from Godzilla.
and out of universe camera shots. Not shot. Dude, that's goddamn. This is not going well.
Gamera,
Camera.
Gamera.
All right. So I predict that one of the guests will be possessed by a demon. Because I gotta give myself an easy, guaranteed one. Okay. But now the thing is, do we think the host will ever be possessed by a demon?
I think it's gonna be. I think that the demon's gonna jump around hosts a bunch throughout the
Okay.
movie. Um, and I don't know if it'll go to the host. I don't know. It
We
might
have
be like
okay, here's the thing. We have different predictions.
we do,
Well,
but you don't have two. You don't have two notepads up.
two columns. Yeah.
Here, I'll write down mine, and then when we get to like doing the show, we can just make two columns with them on there or something.
Okay,
We'll
well
figure
then
it
I'm
out. We
going
can
to
figure
change
it
the
out.
first one because I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
it's
yeah,
going to be
yeah, yeah. You own yours.
entirely
I'm gonna make
shot
mine.
as in world cameras because I kind of disagree with you on that. I think it's the entire
I,
thing is going to be entire.
I think it's gonna.
Yeah.
A mix. I think it's gonna be a mix. A mix of in universe and out of
But I kind of agree
universe
with you. It's probably
camera
going to be
shots.
multiple possessions here.
Yeah, multiple possessions as it passes around each victim or like victim killer.
All right.
I
Well,
think
what are some of the cliches with like these kinds of
possessions.
movies?
So my favorite cliche and one I hope shows up here is that it's like a demon that haunts, not haunts, but possesses someone, but the good guys, the people who are the victims or whatever you want to call that tropic group, right, end up killing them multiple times, and each time they kill them, the demon comes back and it's more murderous and more demonic against them.
Okay. That seems like a good prediction. I'm gonna say that doesn't happen. I'm gonna say that one of the guests will be a ghost who was killed earlier. Like not earlier in the movie, but like earlier, like before the movie started. Like the spirit of somebody's gonna show up.
Okay. Because that was gonna be my next prediction. My next
I'm gonna
prediction
say
was gonna
on
be
an earlier date. How
I'm
about
gonna
that?
say ooh. I'm just gonna say it's straight up the devil, like the actual devil, not like a ghost or
Oh,
of
so you're
somebody
gonna
great.
predict?
I think it's just like an actual devil demon.
Okay, so you're gonna predict. Okay, well here's the thing: there are demons, and then there is Lucifer or Satan themselves. Are you gonna predict that it's the actual devil or just a demon?
A devil, or a demon.
Okay, so you're saying that it's not the demon is not going to be Satan.
No, it's not gonna be straight up Satan.
You know what? I agree with you on that. Demon
I'm gonna put in, but not
possessing
Satan to put in the qualifier here, as we just discussed.
people is a demon, but not Satan / Lucifer. All right, my fifth and final prediction will be everybody dies.
Oh, you think everyone's gonna
I think
die?
it's just going to be the ones. I think it's going to end with everybody in that entire studio, host included, dead. Every named character will be dead by the end of this movie.
I only have 4 predictions, so I need 2 more. I think blah 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 blah. Oh, this is hard. Just
I
going
know,
off of
right?
the thing, this is really hard.
Yeah, now you know how it feels.
Fuck
It's
you.
like, it's tough when you don't know much about a movie. How do you make predictions about it? I mean, I could kind of pose a question. All right.
I think. Okay, this is out of the context of the possessions. I think that it's all going to be live to the in-world audience. Like, it's not going to stop. The camera's not going to stop rolling.
Okay. So basically, the entire movie's going to be in real time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that too.
Stop rolling and will be in real time.
Entire movie.
And I think the movie's going to end with one person surviving amidst like a pile of bodies surrounding them.
Okay. So you're gonna say one survivor. I'm saying no survivors.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna say one survivor. Those are my predictions.
All right. Well, I got mine. You got yours. We'll see how.
I got mine. Yeah.
But we got to get this movie rolling.
We gotta get the show on the road. We got a movie to watch.
So when we come back, we'll be joined by Kyria Thanatos, and we will have watched Late Night with the Devil. Okay, let's go. And we're back, and we're live now. We're live.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Twigs Missing Movies.
So loud. Well, so as you can see here, we were talking about Kyria Thanatos, but a very spooky young lady named Mia has joined us instead.
Hi.
Mia's in the room with us right now.
She's gone.
Well, for my guests who may not be familiar with what's going on with you, Mia, why don't you give them a little refresher?
Oh, well. Kyria decided to take a trip into a submarine right into my domain, and I ate her. And now I have her channel. It's mine for all of October.
Oh, no.
What happens at the end of October? Do you just spit her up? Like,
we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Yeah, we'll burn that bridge when we get there.
Oh, yeah. Burning bridges.
Yes. Well, now, yes, as Silverheart Vivian has said, it's now late night with the VTuber. And, we all got to drink some water.
It is.
Drinking water.
Well, we're so happy to have you, and really looking forward to talking about this movie, because this movie, I mean...
This movie was great.
It
start to finish.
Amazing.
Start to finish, a fantastic movie.
Yeah, we... So, in case anyone was wondering, obviously watch the show, but you should go watch
the movie.
Yeah. Because the way the movie is presented is it starts off as if it's a documentary, and it's like a documentary about we got night owls with Jack. What was his last name? Jack Delroy. Jack Delroy. That was his name, and he's trying to compete with Johnny Carson. And he's got this great show, Night Owls, and has people on, but he's not Johnny Carson. And
he's no Johnny Carson.
And this movie takes place in 1977, and the guy
At the height of Carson's career.
Yeah, pretty much. In fact, there's one of my favorite jokes in it. He comes out and he's like on his like debut like episode. They're showing like here's footage from his debut episode. And he's like, well, my parents always believed in me, and they've supported me through my whole journey, and I know that they're sitting at home right now, looking at the TV with big smiles on their face, watching Johnny Carson.
Yeah, I did like that one.
That's a good joke. That's a good joke.
He had a lot of good opening puns and jokes, which was something they also harped on in the movie about why he was doing poorly too.
Well, I mean, Jack Delroy felt like, the actor did a good job doing the persona of a late night talk show host. I mean,
he felt extremely believable. Like,
yeah.
I would have watched his talk show. Absolutely.
Yeah, 100%.
Jack Delroy's talk
He
show.
had a good personality built for the character.
Honestly, they should do a real Night Owls, get the actor, and just
do
a talk show, but like have
and
it
then the
shot
final
in
episode
4:3 on like low res cameras. And,
God.
and really make it actually feel like a 1970s talk show, but still have on like modern stars and stuff. That'd be great.
Yeah, it would. I mean, I don't know. I don't watch a whole lot of talk shows. I know of them. I watch them when they're on if someone else is watching them, but I honestly just do not watch a whole lot. So conceptually, this movie was very out of my genre comfort zone, if you will, in terms of like the backdrop. Like it wasn't. It was not made. What am I trying to say here?
What are you trying to say here?
I don't know what I'm trying to say right now. My brain skipped a beat long enough.
But anyway, it's a documentary. And it's about how he had, the documentary starts off saying that he had a successful show, but he was always number 2 to Johnny Carson. Also, thanks for the follow, Doppelganger. And how at one point, wait, is tits not on? I thought I started tits. Sorry, everybody. I ain't got no tits right now. I thought I clicked it to start, but I guess I didn't. Anyway, back to talking about the show. Where was I? Yeah, he had always been kind of failing to get his ratings, and they said that his wife had died of cancer, and then tits pops up and shows up the whole screen, and then his wife dies, and he had a bit of a hiatus, but he had a big comeback, and he was trying to grab the big ratings again, and the way he was going to do it was with a big Halloween night special, and he was going to have on some, kind of a Halloween themed, and have a psychic come on, but also a stage magician who is a skeptic of all things paranormal, and then also bringing on a little girl who was rescued from a demonic cult and her caretaker. And those are the 3 guests that we get. And then they're like, all right, we're going to show you the entire uninterrupted show, but what's also during the commercial breaks, we're going to show you some behind the scenes footage. So it's kind of done like a mix of like what the cameras were rolling, but also like behind the scenes documentary footage the whole time.
It's very Blair Witch Project in that way.
Yeah. But it was more like, here's documentary footage rather than found footage. But, it's
I think it did a blend of the two really well. Like it would go from a documentary to like a real time, this is what they were doing, right? Because whenever they would go backseat, I don't know if you noticed, but during the cinematography of it, when they were on stage, it was from the point of view of like a documentary reel. But whenever they were going backstage and having the conversations that they were having, it was in real time.
Well, kind of. The whole thing was in real time, but we had so it was like the POV of the actual show that would have been aired, and then like a black and white camera that was like the behind the scenes camera.
Yeah, the documentarians and all that, which but yeah, so we kind of had a cast. What would you say? We had like 6 main characters in this, We've got
More or
Jack
less.
Dorsey himself. We've got his, his
Jack
sidekick.
Dorsey.
That's Jack Dorsey right there. He's
Yeah.
Jack
Is his name really Delroy? Dorsey
say
is the
Dorsey?
guy. Dorsey
yeah.
is the guy from Facebook.
Yeah.
Guy from Twitter.
I'm sorry. I was thinking Jack D. Jack Delroy. Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you for that correction. Now we feel silly, but
Okay.
yeah, it's a Jack D. You know what it is. You know how it is.
Jack D, not to be confused with Jack B.
Yeah, Jack Delroy. All right. So anyway, then you've got his sidekick, the guy with the mustache, and then you've got the psychic, whose name was what was his name?
The first one is Christau.
Oh, Christau. Yes, Christau.
Christau, who puts on a deliciously French accent, even though he's clearly
well,
not French
funny.
at all.
Like, I really loved Christau's section because the first one is like, oh, this guy is just a bad cold reader. He's doing the generic thing of, I'm getting a Peter, a petter, and it's just like, just the most obvious, just cold reading and missing. And then he talks to the couple of women who was like a mom, and was it her husband or her brother or something?
It was her brother.
It was her brother. Okay,
brother and son.
Yeah, so he had committed suicide, but he seemed to know a bit about that. And then there was even like a scene later that shows like, hey, did you fill out a questionnaire before the show? So he's like, oh, okay, so this one was probably fake too. But then we get the one that's kind of spooky, and the lights go out, and he's contacting a name, and Jack is very upset by it. And this one almost seems a little bit more real. Ow! And then, we get the skeptic who comes on. And I really liked this skeptic character. He was an asshole. But it's like, okay, so we just had on
He was like the
Geller.
perfect asshole.
We had on Uri Geller and James Randi.
Well, so the best part is that actually happened twice.
Oh yeah,
that happened on Johnny Carson actually.
Yep. Yeah, Uri Geller came on, and James Randi. Now James Randi was a lot better person than the Carmichael
wonderful
guy.
Man.
Yeah, I mean I love James Randi.
Yeah.
But I mean, they even had the whole prove you have psychic abilities and I'll write you a check thing. I mean, Carmichael was James Randi and Christau was Uri Geller. It's like,
absolutely.
Straight up. And so I loved the parodying of the real people in this. And so those two kind of have their sets back and forth. And then we bring on the little girl and her caretaker. And she's somebody who has rescued the sole survivor of a mass suicide from a satanic cult. I mean, they were going hard on the satanic stuff here.
Definitely not Waco, Texas.
No. So Lily is the name of the little girl, and or it was June the little girl. No, June's the adult. Yeah, June's the adult.
Yeah, June's the adult. Yeah, it was Sasha, I believe, is the little girl's name.
Yeah, and so then she talks about the demon who lives inside of her, Mr. Wriggles. We love Mr. Wriggles. Wriggle. Yeah. And yeah, so they do a whole thing, and it's just like, oh, she floated in the air. She conjured another voice. Very spooky. And then, James Randi's like, nah, I can prove it. And then he does. I loved his whole hypnotism section where he hypnotizes the band leader guy and makes him like pull worms out of himself. And
yeah, that part was
that was
great.
That was really good. But that brings up another thing that I really liked about the movie. The practical effects were not only practical, but they were made in style of like what would have been used in the 70s.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the movie looked great. Like, some of the effects were a little cheesy, but like in a good way. In a real good way.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's like, oh well, see, I did the hypnotism thing, proved that it was all hypnosis. See, let's go back on the tape, and the tape shows, oh, the guy was just acting funny and weird. It wasn't all real, even though we all saw it. That must have been what was going on. And they're like, okay, well, let's look at the tape of the other little girl when she was possessed and see if he did the same trick. And the footage was real.
The footage was real.
And then things start going nuts. Her head splits in half, and she starts shooting laser
It's such a
beams through
cool
people.
effect. I really liked
It
it.
was it freaked me out and definitely sat in my dreams for a day or two. The effects were so good and so practical and just so disturbing too. Like when his eye pops out with the worms, that was fucked.
That was awesome. There was a lot of times, like, now this movie, like, there were some scenes that were a little bit tense, but it wasn't really scary. But boy, if you just like good horror effects and just like a wild ride of, oh, that's so fucked up, oh, that's awesome, this movie had that kind of stuff in spades.
It felt like an old school horror where it was like it bordered that line between insanely goofy, right? To suddenly very real, and like it would oscillate between the two all the time, to where you're like, oh, maybe this is a real thing that's happening in the universe, or the
Yeah, something I really liked about it is how seriously it takes itself. Its concept is obviously, a little silly. Like it's scary as well, but it's a little silly too. Imagine if Jay Leno came out and was like, "We're summoning a demon tonight, folks." Like, that would be
yeah.
silly, right? But it takes itself very seriously, even in between the cut to ad breaks, and you can see the footage in the background. You can see Jack sort of drop the Jimmy Fallon-esque persona and instead be like, we got to get the fucking show on the road. Like we got to, he becomes much more of a grounded person. And I really liked it. The detail and realism like that is what really sold me. Pretty much the only part of the movie that I don't like is right at the very end when everything starts going crazy, because what I really liked about it is that it was so detailed and that you could conceivably understand, like, oh, somebody's following them around with the camera, or oh, there's a cameraman in the shot or at the camera, and that's how they're getting this shot. And then at the end, when it starts going a little crazy, it's like, well, there's definitely not cameramen anymore. So how are they getting this shot? Like I get it, it's like magic, but it just kind of it loses me a little bit there. I liked how like down to earth it felt in that stuff.
Yeah, like they
But
should have had it cut between like 3 static camera angles where the camera is just the same every time you cut to it, because there's no longer a cameraman there, but it's still rolling.
yeah, it's just
And you
not
just
moving.
get like,
Yeah,
and like one of the shots should have been like sideways on the ground,
yeah,
like had it been knocked
exactly.
over. And yeah,
I
because at the end there,
I
it didn't feel like it was coming from the camera.
I think you're missing what was happening in that ending scene. That ending scene was him getting trapped in your TV, and you're watching it from the point of view of your TV, and the demon at this point has taken over the show, has taken over everything, and is showing you what the demon wants to show you to get to Jack.
Well, I think I'm talking about the scenes immediately before that whole like dream sequence where they're like,
Yeah, because so like what I'm talking about specifically is so there's this sort of like like shmoo to the whole cameras. There's a sort of chromatic aberration on everything. There's a little bit of like noise grain. It's a very similar recreation of what a TV camera in the 70s, in 70s would have looked like, the late 70s. And so the shmoo is there the whole movie, and then right at the very end when it starts there's a scene where it starts going between different like he's going back to old episodes and reimagining them, like when he's in the caveman outfit.
yeah.
And those cameras are like modern, high quality, like in his face. You can see every detailed pore kind of camera. And I think it's to sort of like ground it and be like, this is sort of happening in his mind, and it's sort of a hyper realistic thing. I get the idea, but I just think it didn't work for me. For me, it was like the part that was cool is that it felt like this was all recovered footage, and at that point I have to ask myself, like, well, who made this footage? How did they recover it? Like, who was filming the shot as they like zoom out on the very last shot? I didn't think about it coming out of the TV. That is an interesting angle. I hadn't considered that. That's a
Well,
little cooler, but yeah, I don't know.
remember, the whole thing is being presented to you as a documentary
Well, that's the thing is,
about Jack and his show, The Night Owls. The entire from the start, it's supposed to be a like kind of a mockumentary, and that's why I don't agree with the idea that the black and white cameras are supposed to be like back, like behind the scenes cameras that are rolling. I think the black and white is supposed to be like, here's the memory of Jack and what was happening between all these clips that we got, and That's, I think that's the interpretation that I got from it. I think that's what the intent was supposed to be, was all the black and white scenes were Jack's memories, because at the end of the movie, right, when it gets the high definition part, it's the demon showing you what the demon wants to show you, rather than Jack's memory showing what you want to show you. And if you take the concept of it being a documentary further into a cursed tape, right, which is also a trope within demonic possession movies and stuff like that, it's it makes sense. It makes sense for all these things to be happening cinematography, cinema cinema
Well, I get what you're saying,
cinemagraphically,
but
you know.
Yeah.
But I disagree with you. I think
Yeah.
the black and white footage was footage that is part of the documentary that was shot by a documentary crew that was there that night. I think the black and white commercial break footage was all documentarian footage shot by somebody who was actually there. And then I think one of my problems is that then I think they abandoned and forgot we were watching a documentary in the last 10 minutes. Like, I would have liked to actually have like a little documentary style epilogue to say like
Yeah,
what
I
happened
was kind
afterwards.
of when it showed the end transmission at the end, and then it said it briefly flashes to "So it is done," and then it's like right before it cuts to the credits. I was expecting Michael Ironsides to come back in and be like, "This is the last known footage of the Night Owl. No bodies were ever recovered," or like something like that.
Yeah, or like
But it just ends. So yeah,
I would
I'm
have.
with you. I felt like it was very like, oh, what happened to the documentary angle?
Yeah, it feels like they dropped the documentary angle to me. I mean, don't get me wrong. I liked the whole dream sequence of him going through it as what was in his mind, but I felt like it broke the format of the movie that had been established early on.
Yeah, that's how I feel as well. I liked it. It was good, but it made it go from like 5 stars to like 4.5 for me. It's just that little bit where I was like, you didn't stick the landing. You had me for an hour and a half. You didn't totally stick the landing, and that's okay. You stuck it like 90%, but not 100.
I'm having a brain thought. What if it's just this is Jack's hell?
It could be. He does
What
look
what if
directly at
this is
the
and it
camera and
just
say, "Turn
loops
off the
like
TV."
this,
Yeah.
and like
Could
the
be.
end scene that we see where it's him standing amidst all the bodies, right? Is him in hell going, "What have I done?" And then it cuts to black, like it does, right?
Oh, kind of like
And
the
then
documentary is the devil tormenting him and saying, "Here's how you destroyed your life."
yeah, I'm having that brain thought now, and honestly,
It's not a
that
bad
like
interpretation.
I like that theory a lot more than I like the original one that I just like I thought I was going with which was, it was a documentary from the
Yeah.
from the start.
I could definitely
So
see that because something that stuck out to me was Lily. I said her name was Sasha. I was wrong. Lily
yeah,
says
totally.
directly to Jack. She says, "I think you're going to be famous very soon, Mister Delroy."
Yes,
Yeah,
I caught that
And
line too.
yeah, she says that to him, right? And like obviously she means like if we're extrapolating it out, she means because the events of the show are going to happen where people
Yep.
die and
yeah,
he's going to
for
get known
sure,
for
for
that and all
sure.
that. But on a more meta level, she also means that like he made that pact, so he's going to be famous no matter what. But it's a sort of monkey's paw curls. He's famous, but he's
Oh
famous as a
yeah, I
murderer
mean
rather than
he made a
you
deal
know
with the Jinn,
Yeah,
like
which is
yeah.
something I didn't bring up earlier when I was talking about the loose plot synopsis. Is they say that he had joined a sect of people that includes many wealthy and famous people and good to this retreat deep in the woods of California. And then we see that, oh yeah, we see it right now, he's signing the contract. Well, he's signing that contract in the woods and then immediately goes out and does a satanic ritual.
So that's a real thing, by the way. The Bohemian Grove. Like it's a real
yeah,
Yeah.
it's a
gentleman's
real
club where a bunch of rich men meet together.
and do Satan stuff.
Yep. Or
No,
supposedly,
actually,
anyway.
they just
Supposedly, that's the conspiracy, is that it's all Satan stuff.
it's not Satan stuff. They're just plotting how to use capitalism to destroy the world and gain more power for themselves.
Yeah, Satan stuff.
Yeah, Satan stuff. No, don't belittle Satan like that.
True. No, but yeah, no. I really liked all of the like. So I did watch a lot of late night television growing up. I don't watch it now, mainly because sorry, I hate Jimmy Fallon and I hate Conan O'Brien. I do not find them funny.
Isn't
But
James
Conan
Corden's the
retired?
worst of all of them.
oh God, James Corden. Oh, Okay, I'm good. Um, no, I did watch a lot of late night television growing up. Specifically, I watched a lot of Jay Leno, and so I was, I was right in my element with this because I always, even as a kid, I always thought late night was kind of creepy because it was live, because it was happening then and there. Uh, which I later found out wasn't totally true. It kind of is. It's more true now than it was then, but because it was live and anything could happen, and the interviews were unscripted to an extent and stuff, I always found it a little creepy and a little scary because I would always be afraid, like, what if somebody just started like screaming in the audience? What if somebody just got up and started screaming? Or what if, like, I'm a little kid. I'm like, oh, what if somebody poops their pants or something? Whatever. Like, what if bad thing happens and it's live and we all have to see it, right? So
Yeah.
I was right in my element with this, and I know a weird amount of like late night lore, and there's just so many good references in here. There's
Yeah.
obviously there's the Yuri Geller and James Randi sort of. I mean, the whole thing with Christow is very Yuri Geller, very James Randi.
Yeah. Now, Christow is more of like a John Edwards type than a
Yeah,
Bending
yeah.
Spoons type, but
Yeah.
you know.
And then there's also the where James Randi went on Don Lane as well, which was an Australian TV show, and did something very similar where he debunked a parapsychologist, which is like what the
Yeah.
the lady is.
The lady is, yeah.
Yeah, it's just there's so much clear like emphasis on like real events that actually happened in real life with late night talk show stuff. And it just, I don't know, it's another one of those things that just made it feel so grounded to me. It really did feel like I was stepping into an alt history where like everything's basically the same. There's just this TV show I never knew of called the Night Owls with Jack Delroy. Like,
Yeah.
it weirdly, maybe this is just nostalgia. It's definitely nostalgia talking. It made me miss like late night TV shows, but also it made me go like, man, I really wish I could have caught Jack Delroy when it was going. Like, I liked the show. I liked his presence. I
Yeah.
wanted to watch more of it. Even when he was messing up, I was like, oh, I want to go watch Jack Delroy now.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, just the attention to detail in that was so good, so good. Just my favorite part of it by far.
They did a ton of name dropping, but like the name dropping like felt natural and within like it didn't feel
It
like
didn't feel forced.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
didn't feel forced at all.
exactly.
It was just like, yeah, they brought up politicians and actors.
They brought up a
and
lot of
singers.
politicians and made a lot of references to political things that were happening at the same time too.
Yeah, they got a few digs on Jimmy Carter in this movie.
I loved it was such a small thing, and it was probably not even in the script, but I loved when Jack at the beginning was like, Jimmy Carter. Oh, really? Okay, Jimmy Carter. Like he didn't want to tell the story. Like, it's just so like that's how they are. It's much more off the cuff. It's much more like
Well, like
it's much
especially
more
when you
like
learn that like a lot of those talk show hosts don't even know the jokes they're telling until they read it off the teleprompter.
yeah, it's great. It's great. Like I really have a weird fascination with late night stuff. Like, I wouldn't say I'm obsessed or anything, but it's just one of those like things where I kind of know like a weirdly lot about it, and it hit that spot so well, to the point that like I kind of got a little disappointed when it started turning into a horror movie. I was like, no, no, give me more Delroy.
Yeah. It's like I kind of agree. I would watch the show. But alas, it cannot.
I'd watch Jack Delroy. I'd even watch probably the final episode. It'd be
Yeah,
like
for
saved to
sure.
the TV cassette.
Okay, here's the thing. This screenshot here, where he even went and debunked the Amityville Horror House, because that's the Amityville Horror House in the background.
Oh yeah,
there.
yeah, I love that.
Which that one, I don't know if you're super familiar with it, but like, yeah, that was 100% the family made up the story because they were in debt and they wanted to try and sell the story. Yeah,
Yeah, so they could sell the house and
Yeah.
all that fun stuff.
It's like it was pretty big in the 70s too. Like, it was such an appropriate like name drop.
Relevant because
Yeah,
they
relevant to the
use that
times.
to bounce that off onto onto the onto the Lily stuff. Like it bounced from that to Lily's backstory, I think.
And then yeah, I think the Lily, the little girl, and then with Mr. Wriggles in there, she was great and creepy, and like just said some things that were just like kind of like
okay, that's creepy, but like not
Mhm.
like I think what did he say? He like called her pretty at some point, and then she said like something in response to it, and it was just
Oh,
like,
we'll make you pretty. We'll get you back to being pretty. And it's like, am I not pretty already, or something like that? Was the
Yeah,
exchange was?
there was something about her voice as well. Like it almost sounded like even
mystery.
before she was possessed and was demonic, it was like her voice was like slightly too deep for someone that like her age. Like it just something about it felt off. It felt like it was like expanded somehow. I don't really know. I don't have like the words to describe it, but just every
It
time I
definitely
heard her
did
talk,
feel
it was
more
like
mature. It
yeah,
felt
it
more
just felt like
mature.
weird and like I kept expecting it to like suddenly change pitch every time she talked, and it never did. And it was like, I don't know, I don't know if that's how the actress actually sounds, but my God, it was really like I was really creeped out by her.
But then you also had like when she was possessed, her face looked different. It almost
Oh
looked
yeah,
male.
yeah.
It started looking like a, she started looking like a male in his early 20s at some
Yeah,
points.
it was like a totally like different build entirely.
Yeah, I mean that's that. Yeah, that's to show that like she's being possessed by the
Yeah.
demon, who is a
Hmm,
male
hmm.
demon,
Yeah, that's what I think.
as far as we
It
know.
was a great effect.
Oh yeah.
I'm applauding that.
Oh yeah.
I missed what you were going for. Yeah, for
There
sure.
was also something else I really really loved that I don't know if either of you caught, where the first time that she looks back at when she's possessed and she looks back at Delroy and says that you know we've met each other before, I've seen you before or whatever. She looks back at him and there's this like flash on the back of her head that is Jack Delroy's deceased wife, and I caught it when it happened and I was like, wait a second, did I see that? And so I rewound it and I checked and it's like, yeah, there's a face there. And I felt so vindicated later on in the movie when they started like when Jack was like, no, no, rewind that frame by frame. Like, can we see that again? It was like, yeah, he sees it too. Like it
that's
felt
him.
so good to have actually like noticed that and see, you know, have the character notice it too.
I missed that the first time through.
Yeah, I
Good
did
on you for
too.
catching that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, it's totally there. If you look, it's weird when he goes back and looks at it. There's his wife behind him with like her hand on his shoulder.
yeah.
But the very first time it happens, and the second time it happens, even when they go, so it happens three times technically. The first time it happens is the very first time she's possessed, like in that moment, and you can see his wife's face is like she turns her head backwards, and then on the back of her head, his wife's face flashes for a second.
Wait, it was on the back
Then
of her head?
yeah, it
She's a
was. Yeah.
malignant?
But yeah, so like it happens then, and then when they're reviewing the footage to see if the hypnotism was real, when they're reviewing the footage, it happens again on the back of her head, and it seemed to be like a different frame. And then the third time is when he's going frame by frame, and he, you know, his wife shows up behind him. And what I actually like is when he screams and he goes you know, because he sees his wife, dead wife behind him. If you look closely when he screams, her hand is still on his shoulder, and then in the next shot
Oh,
she's
God.
gone.
Oh God,
There's
yeah,
a
that's
lot of
right. I
really
forgot about that.
there's a lot of really small like stuff like
Subtle,
that
yeah,
that I was
That's
really
awesome.
that makes
really
me
big
want to
fan of.
rewatch it because I love going back and rewatching shit for like the small details I may have missed the first time. There's a ton of movies that I love just for that reason. Like this is very off topic, but Hoodwinked. Hoodwinked's a movie that
Hmm.
you can go back and watch and catch different things that happen in the background every time.
Guess we'll have to
You might
cover
not have
that on
caught
the show
before.
at some point.
Hmm.
I also felt, I don't know, so are either of you very familiar with the SCP wiki?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not like a super fan of it, but I've read plenty of SCPs.
So
Of
I
who?
don't
Sorry.
The
the
secure,
SCP wiki?
contain, protect.
No, never heard of.
It's like
No. It's like a community. It's like a wiki of like a fake government thing
Oh,
that
SCP.
yeah,
Sorry.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Okay, I was
There
hearing different letters. My bad.
there's one that I don't know. I mean, it's weird because like I still think of the SCP as like a small thing that is not like very influential. But at this point, we kind of have to accept like there's definitely been movies that have like ripped off concepts and stuff directly from it. Like it's
yeah,
you know
and
it has
some
had
pretty
stuff
big
made of it.
video games that are based
Yeah,
around it.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a thing.
So there was this one SCP. It's one of my favorites that I kept thinking of the whole time we were watching it as well. And it kind of goes into what you were saying, Dre, about it being like a recurring loop for Jack.
Yeah, like a
Um,
hell.
yeah, so there's one, I think it's 1733, where it's like a VHS of a recording of like a basketball game, like some NBA basketball game, and every time you play it, it like degrades in quality, and also all of the people, like it restarts from the beginning, but all of the people in it have the memories of every time it's been played before. So like the first few times it's just a regular basketball game, but then by like the fourth or fifth time, the people in there are like, hold on, why am I groundhog daying this basketball game? And by like the 100th play, like every time you start it, they all like form like little cults and start ritually sacrificing each other and pressing them against
Oh,
the door
good
and
lord.
stuff like that. Yeah, it's really messed up, but it kind of reminded me of that, the way it's like this cursed videotape that just kind of keeps getting worse and keeps like glitching and all this other kind of stuff. I have no idea if it was inspiration. I think the inspiration might have been a UK movie called Ghost Watch. But
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that,
I
but never seen it.
yeah, Ghost Watch is a very, very similar like late night talk show. Like it's like a mockumentary type thing where like people show up. It's the same idea basically. Um, but yeah, I have no idea if 1733 was inspiration for it, but it really feels like it was. There's
Yeah.
just so many similarities I kept seeing.
I honestly, I can't speak to the truth in that, but it sounds very similar. I could see where you're getting that from based on your
Mhm, mhm.
description. But that shit like that's always so cool too in horror. Everyone always goes for this big empty horror or this big, terrible visage. But like there are, I think, a lot more horrors that can be portrayed and when done well, do a lot more damage than, oh, there's a big scary monster at the end. You
Yeah.
know.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Well, like I just
Uh,
watched Annihilation for the first time last night, and the horror of, oh, the world is slowly transforming and the DNA of everything is combining into one is more horrifying than any monster. Than
yeah, something beyond your control or being able to stop.
yeah, like that movie. Good movie.
Yeah, no, I adored the movie. Like I said, the ending was. I'm sorry about the sirens. I apologize.
It's okay. They're coming for you.
They're
They're
coming to
coming.
get me.
They know. They know
They
what
heard.
what you did to Kyria. They're
Yeah.
coming.
Yeah, no, other than the ending, which I still like, it's still a good ending. It's not like so bad I wouldn't like say not to watch it or anything. It just lost me a little, but I still think it's like a pretty good ending. But other than that, I enjoyed like every second of it. I'll be honest with you, I was actually kind of having like a bad day because I woke up a little late, so I like
Hmm.
didn't have time to do a bunch of stuff beforehand. So when I sat down to watch it, I was like not totally paying attention. I was obviously going to pay attention, but I was like, still in like a bad headspace a little, and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it like gripped me and drew me in like so much. I just forgot. I forgot I was having a bad day. I was like, I got to see what happens to Jack Dorley here.
So for me, it takes a lot for me to watch a horror in the first place. Like I have my classics that I like watching, but I don't. I suffer from chronic nightmares myself. Like every night's a nightmare, so I don't really need to see horror movies to get the
Hmm.
vibes.
Totally
Uh,
understandable.
but this movie had such a grip on me from start to finish. Like it instantly made like my top 5 horror movies of all time. So one that I would
Yeah,
gladly
same
go and
here.
Wow.
rewatch.
Wow,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's some high praise. I
I
don't know if I'd
really
go that
liked it.
far, but
I really liked it.
Yeah,
Conceptually speaking.
especially for me as somebody who really likes late night stuff. Yeah, this is top 5 for me, easy.
wow. All
It
Yeah.
might be
right,
like
well,
5. It's not
yeah.
like super high up
Mhm.
there. It's probably my
Also,
5th, but it is top 5.
Bon is here, and what Bon, was it you who, when we were watching this movie, pointed out that with Michael Ironside, we do have now a connection. This movie is 1 degree away from Major Payne, that also had Michael Ironside in it. Making those Twigs Missing Movie connections. I think I broke Dre.
Yeah, a little bit. Sorry.
But there is one controversy around this film that was also
Oh
brought up
yeah,
during the
Bond brought
watch
up. Yeah.
along. Turns
Yeah.
out a lot of those like commercial, like, we'll be back soon, we're cutting to commercial soon. Apparently they used AI to make those.
Yeah. Some of the art has AI art on it,
Yeah.
it absolutely sours this otherwise amazing movie.
Which is so weird because it's like they lazied out on that one aspect of it when it was clear that there was so much love and attention and thought and artistry put into the rest of the film.
Yeah. Why did they skimp on what really simple graphics too, right? Like
Yeah.
incredibly simple. This was maybe $400, $500 tops, right?
Yeah,
Um,
I didn't even, I'll be honest with you. I didn't know this was a thing. My whole time through, I never like saw it and was like, "Oh, that's obviously AI." When I was like, "Man, that movie was good." And I looked up the Letterboxd review because I put my own there, and I saw a bunch of people talking about AI, and I was like replaying the movie in my head like, where was it? Yeah, it's subtle, and it sucks that it's there. I'm not happy about it at all. I'm mad that it
Yeah.
got past me.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that unfortunately we're going to start seeing more and more of. And it's just like,
Mhm.
I don't want to hate this movie just because of that. It's one of those
yeah.
things where it's just like, shame on you, but I can still like the rest of the movie.
Yeah, my like hottest take on it is like obviously it sucks and I'm mad that it's there since it's only for like interstitials and there's all this other like, all these other props and all the other kind of stuff. I don't think it's as bad, although obviously it is still bad. But the thing that gets me is that apparently they didn't have them in the version that was shown at South by Southwest Festival.
What?
When they yeah, the very first ever debuting of the movie at South by Southwest did not have those. There was no AI. So they were added later. And that's the part that bothers me because it feels like obviously if anybody was watching it South by Southwest, they would have known and they would have said something and it would have like, would have tanked the reputation of the movie a little bit. So it's like, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, hold on. In the week leading up to the film's release, some reviewers pointed out the use of AI generated art in a montage which was not present in the version screened at South by Southwest and called for a boycott of the film. It's like, I don't know, it feels like taking the extra step to hide it so that you can like have all these people at South by Southwest go like, "Oh, this is such a good movie, it's so good." Then it comes out and everybody goes, "Well, the film snob said it's good, so it must be good." And it's like now
Yeah.
you've hidden in
And
the
then
thing
that's
that
that.
made yeah, it's like
But then the thing is, then why add it back? If it was good
yeah,
at
no,
South by Southwest, well, then why add it
no
at
clue.
all? If it didn't need it, then don't do it.
So
Ah.
that's the only reason I'm willing to still put this in my top 5 is that because it's there, it strikes me as executive management meddling. Like somebody at executive management was like, oh,
Release the
we're
Snyder
yeah,
Cut!
we're gonna have to have this version that's
Release the
gonna have
Snyder
We
Cut.
these.
want the Snyder Cut of like Night with the Devil.
The Snyder Cut, where we didn't cut down anything extra. Like I don't know if you guys have watched the Snyder Cut, but it was not any better. I liked those movies originally and how they're cut originally. They didn't really add anything but make the movie 4 hours long.
Yeah, the
Well,
Snyder Cut is
Hentai in
silly.
there asking for the real cut that we need.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
it is
no,
it is it is
it did
weird.
it added a lot. It added a lot of ick for me about the movie. Um, and I honestly I can't say that there's like a slightly better like choose your devils kind of moment with AI because to me any usage of AI is an abomination. Um,
Yeah,
which
totally
like as
understand.
Bond says, it knocks it a point down. For me, but I still really like the movie because one part does not make the whole, right?
Right, right.
But it's still like I'll still think about it every fucking time I see it.
Yeah. But, you know, overall, it's a movie with a lot to talk about. The acting was very good. The
Mm-hmm.
cinematography was great. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just they did everything they needed to for it. I know there definitely had to have been a score, but like I don't remember a lot of scenes that had score. A lot of it really felt was quiet, and like the music was just like it was
The
like a
music
late night show. You didn't have
was
the
late night show music throughout. Yeah.
yeah, but you didn't have like they didn't have like creepy music playing during the scenes. It was silent, right?
I think there was some like typical very quiet horror music. Like I can't describe it. Like atmospheric music that was going on in some parts when things were supposed to be tense and when they weren't supposed to be tense.
Yeah.
You know.
The dream sequence is also pure Dutch angles. Oh yeah, you got a lot of Dutch angles in the last 10 minutes of this movie.
Oh yeah, extremely.
I also appreciated the movie was only 90 minutes long.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Didn't feel like it overstayed its welcome at all.
Yep. It got in, it got out, it did what it needed to do. Get a lesson, Scorsese.
This is also a weird thing to say, I think, but like I watch a lot of movies, like a lot. So I've got a pretty
Mhm.
good face for pretty good memory rather for actors and their faces and stuff like that. I always love when I see a movie like this where I have seen the actors in basically nothing
Yeah.
because it makes their roles so much more believable. Because it's like I've never seen,
Yeah,
I have.
that's not
I,
Thor from the
right.
Avengers.
That's not my friend Captain America.
That's not
That's
Edward from Twilight. That's
exactly. And although it did
Um,
dawn on me, I had actually seen Jack in another movie, which was The Suicide Squad, the good
Yep,
one,
we talked
where he's
about that.
Polka Dot Man. Yeah, I was like the whole time I was like it almost added this like layer of uncanny where I was like, why do I feel like I know him? He's fucking
Mhm.
Polka Dot Man
Yeah,
of all people.
I do love when you don't recognize the actors. Like when when I saw Midsommar, the only actor I had ever seen before was Will Poulter. Like it was my first Florence Pugh movie, so it's just like, this is great.
Mhm.
Yeah, I do, and I think you get that a little bit more with horror than you do with other genres. But even though I recognize her, please, please let have Toni Collette make more horror movies, please.
Oh God, yes, please.
She's like one of my
You
favorite actors. She's
if you ever want a very down to earth horror experience, there is a movie length episode of The Bear, and you don't have to have watched the rest of The Bear. That I think has Toni Collette in it, although maybe I'm getting her confused with somebody else. Um, but it is just a 90-minute long Thanksgiving episode of just a dysfunctional family having Thanksgiving together, and it is so stressful and so anxiety inducing, and it sucks so
Oh,
bad.
I've seen
and
that
it's got Toni
episode,
Collette.
and
I think so, unless I'm getting her.
I'm
Oh,
intrigued by the idea.
I
Definitely want to
am
check
getting
that
her
out.
confused. I apologize. I was getting her confused with Jamie Lee Curtis. My bad.
Oh well, you know what? I also love Jamie Lee Curtis. So
Well, yeah. I mean, I honestly recommend that episode. You don't have to have the context of the rest of the show because it takes place in the past and it's just like history for the characters. So
mhm,
it is. Wow, it's
mhm.
something.
But bringing up Toni
yeah,
Collette did remind me one more thing a little story I want to bring up. So Toni Collette was the mother in The Sixth Sense. And
yes,
did a phenomenal job in that. Well, Haley Joel Osment is all grown up now, and he's actually like a really big into like the improv comedy scene and doing like a lot
is
of
he
comedy
really?
stuff. Oh yeah, Haley
Oh
Joel
yeah,
Osment is hilarious. He is
he's been
great.
on Saturday Night
Um,
Live a lot of times.
But anyway, he was on Comedy Bang Bang recently, and they were talking about like making horror movies, and like the conversation got brought up like, what if we made a movie that took place now as with Cole as an adult and still having to deal with all the ghost things, and like what's his life like now as an adult when he's working with a ghost but still sees them all the time, and what would his life be like as an adult? And like they're like, I've never heard of a more sellable idea. Why are we saying this on a podcast?
Yeah.
Like, wouldn't that be
Very
great to
sellable
have a
idea.
Yeah. Oh
Sixth
my
sequel
God, like a
now?
follow up. Yeah.
Yeah, get
That,
Toni
uh, that-
Collette back.
That reminds me of
Not
the
Bruce
doctor's.
Willis because he's dead.
Oh wait, did he die?
No, well, no, the character.
His
dead.
character. his
Oh,
character.
right. Sorry.
Yeah.
I know.
It-
I know.
Don't worry.
I know-
Don't worry,
does-
Mia. I also had that moment. Was like, did I miss something?
Well,
Well,
I mean, Bruce
he's
Willis,
terminally ill,
Yeah,
so
he
that's
does
why I
have
was
his,
like,
a
I was
degenerative
like,
does
oh,
brain
did,
yeah.
did,
disease.
did it
Yeah.
happen?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
no,
I meant I was spoiling Sixth Sense because it's like
Right,
Bruce Willis was
right.
dead the whole time. Sorry if you haven't. Sorry to spoil you on a 28-year-old movie.
Ooh.
I also that
25
reminds me a
years,
lot of there's a sequel to The Shining called Doctor Sleep, which is both a novel and also a movie that got made with Ewan McGregor in it, and it's really really good. And I think there's honestly a lot of potential to be explored in like sequels to movies that are like the logical extreme of like this is this universe of this movie like 20 years later. I think there's a lot you can do with that and sort of explore with that.
Yeah. Well, is there anything else about this movie that we want to bring up? Anything we've missed?
No, I think we've talked about everything that I was pretty excited to talk about, to be honest.
Yeah,
And,
I mean,
and, like,
anything I could say is just like more like small
it's
stuff.
just expounding upon ideas that we've passed around already.
Well, then I guess it's
Um,
time to see
How our
how-
predictions
how
stacked
well
up,
did our predictions do.
and we had double the predictions.
Yeah. So we're
Yeah, I
gonna
was looking
mine.
at these predictions beforehand.
Now, Mia, could you please move slightly more to your right, our left?
Sure.
Just-
can.
Did I give you my predictions? I can't remember.
Here you
I
go.
think
You
I
didn't
did.
give them to me, but you got them written down, and people can
I
always
do, I
check
do,
the
I do.
tape. So my first prediction, entirely shot as in-world cameras. Now, do we give this to me? Because it was up until the dream
Yeah.
sequence things at the
I
end.
think you get a half point. I think you get a half point
I
for it
would say
because
half
I don't
point
think
there.
anyone could have predicted how that ending was going to come out.
Yeah.
I'd say yeah, like a half point on that. I mean, you could even argue that the final shot is just some like camera from like some security camera or something, but yeah.
And I had a mix of in-universe and out-of-universe camera shots. And I guess that's a little bit subjective, as we were talking about, for how you want to interpret the camera, the cameras from the point of view of what was shot for the show and what was shown in the background,
Mhm.
So I'm going to leave that up to you on whether or not you want to give that to me.
Up to you, Mia. Guest is judge.
I think you could say
0.4999999.
I think you both get a half point. I think you're both right in
Okay,
different
okay.
ways.
All right, cool. All right, I can live with that.
Now, I had to give myself a gimme, and I said one of the guests will be possessed by a demon. So, yeah.
See, I was thinking when you said that, you meant like one of the guests in the audience.
No, with audience and guest is people who appear on the show that aren't regulars.
Then yeah,
Audience
yeah,
is
that is
audience,
definitely
yeah.
a gimme.
Yeah. I mean, come on. You can tell that just by looking at the movie poster. Now, here's
it's weird.
one of the...
I don't know where you found that movie poster. All the ones I can find are just him in a suit with a flame for head.
I think that one's supposed to be... Isn't that the one that was shown at the festival?
Actually, no. I used AI to make it.
Oh, that makes
I
sense.
I have to stop talking to you now, bud.
All right. Did you have another prediction? Okay. I deserve this bonk. Thank you, Bon. All right. Did you? Because I had my third prediction. What was your third prediction?
My third prediction was multiple possessions as it passes each possessed person in its killing rampage. So basically, it was going to be a possession that affected everybody at some point and would go the rounds in killing people.
I would say
that's a no. That's a no. Yeah, if
no.
I had just kept it at multiple possessions, I would have been fine. But I decided to be a little bit.
This is not a multiple
fancy
possession game.
There were two possessions. Yeah. There were technically two possessions.
All right. Well, I had mine. One of the guests will be a ghost who was killed on an earlier date. Well, there was a ghost who was killed on an earlier date, but they weren't really a guest.
Yeah, no, I don't think you get points for that one.
No points at all. Not even a half point for that.
No.
Oh.
I mean, his wife was a guest, and then she died. But that's just kind of what happens. That's just life.
Okay. Yeah. I should have said a ghost of somebody who is dead appears. That would have been better.
Yeah.
That would have been a gimme. That would have been a total gimme.
Yeah, but no, it's not what I predicted.
Mine was an actual devil or demon is possessing people, but it's not Satan.
And that was that same thing. We both got that one.
We both got that one.
Yeah, I don't know. It is weird. It is called Late Night with the Devil, but I guess the devil kind of gets a name, but I don't know. It's not clear that that's
Mr.
who's
Wriggles.
possessing the girl. Yeah, true.
Lucifer would never call himself Mr. Wriggles. Lucifer is a guy that Lucifer brings out at a party.
True. Oh, right. It was called Abraxas. I remember.
Abraxas.
Because
it sounded like a cleaning agent.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
that's because it's a Braxo from Fallout. That's in Fallout. That's what the cleaning agent is called.
Oh, true.
Is Braxo. And I kept thinking that the whole time. I was like, I just couldn't stop thinking of Fallout and Abraxo.
My fourth one was camera will not stop rolling and will be in real time.
I would say, I mean, other than the ending, I guess that's basically true.
Yeah, I put entire movie in real time. I don't know if I should have put the word entire in there.
I don't know. I guess you could argue that the entire movie is real time because at the end, the police are coming for him. You can hear the sirens. So,
yeah,
it's still real life. He's still there.
So, are you saying half point or full point?
I think I would give full point for that person.
Oh, okay. Well, you're the judge.
Okay.
Guest is the
Okay.
judge.
And
And then this one, I got to give myself a red because I didn't say most people die. I said everybody dies, and Jack Delroy is still alive at the end, as
He
was
sure
his
is.
like backstage production manager. That guy didn't die.
Yeah, I was kind of
Um,
I was kind of surprised. He just kind of like he seemed like he was going to be an important character. He's in a number of scenes, and then after the last break, he just disappears. He just
Yeah.
isn't in the movie anymore.
So there was like what, 2 or 3, maybe 3 or 4 named characters that don't die. So I got that one wrong.
Mhm. Man, I'm just remembering.
and
at
I
the
had
end where,
one person survives with corpses around them.
You know what?
That's
Jack
more
Dorsey. That's
accurate.
kind of the final shot
That's
of the
exactly
movie.
what happens. Yeah,
think we
that's
gotta give
exactly
you
what
that
happens
one.
to him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Og.
we got to give you that one. I'm just remembering the end of the movie where when the James Randi style guy dies, he pulls out a cross and starts praying, and it's like, oh
Yeah.
God, what a good joke, right?
Going
He
full
he
release,
also tries to
yeah.
pledge himself to Braxis too.
Yeah, he tries to pray and stuff, and then he goes, "Oh, that's not working. Braxis, I'll be here," and then he just starts melting, and it's so good.
Yeah,
I
that
lo-
was a
I love
great
the-
face melt. Great face
Yeah.
melt.
I love that the skeptic is just suddenly like, "Oh, fuck this."
It wasn't even a face
Well, I
melt, it
mean,
was
if
like
that
a whole
shit started
body melt.
happening in front of you, well, I think I'd probably do the same.
I think
Yeah,
I'd
you
shit
can't-
my
can't
pants,
re-
that's
can't
for
really
sure.
be a skeptic anymore at that point.
Yeah, like I'm an obnoxious skeptic at some point, so it's be like, yeah. So I got 3.5 out of 6.
I think I had half. I think we tied.
Oh, 3.5 out of 6.
I think we tied, yeah.
Okay, we always say if you're over 50%, that's pretty good on this.
Over
Oh, see.
50% in this is a pass, right? So I had 5, I got 3.5. So
I see,
that's
I was-
70%. That's a pass.
I was gonna tell you to do a coin flip. Pick a side, and I do a coin flip.
We can share the share the
I'm
winning
happy with
podium.
the
We
tie.
can,
Yeah,
we can share
Fair
it. Yeah.
enough.
yeah. Corvids we're not, we're not.
We're
not
a
so
community
competitive,
people.
yeah.
We're a community of people. We have funerals. No, few other bird species have funerals.
Yeah. Well,
True.
although they say sometimes they're also just trying to figure out how the crow died, in which case it's a murder investigation.
At least it's not a Congress of Rooks.
Well, now we're at the final question of the show. Ow,
And
ow, ow,
and
ow.
I feel like we already answered this multiple times, but Twig, did you enjoy the movie? And do you do you feel it was worth watching?
Yeah, I think it's pretty obvious at this point that I like this movie. I'm glad I watched this movie. And yeah, it was fun. It was great. I have obviously we have a few minor issues with it, but overall, I had a great time watching the movie. It had great build-up, great story, and I mean, what a great story! A horror movie that's like a broadcast with a really good story. Like,
Yeah.
Mhm,
Yeah.
I liked it, and so yeah, we're definitely in our top half here, and I'm gonna have to. Oof. Now the question is, okay, I liked it better than How to Train Your Dragon. Sorry, Dre, but I liked it better than The Mummy.
That's fair.
I mean, I'm gonna say
You
I
were
liked
you were
it
kind of
better-
mixed on the Mummy anyway.
I liked it better than Rocky Horror, but I think Mars Attacks is still on the top. Now the question is, this is definitely at least a pretty good would watch again. But would I put it up into amazing? I think because of the few issues we had, I'm not going to quite put it there. But I'm putting it right at the top of the pretty good would watch again tier.
Okay. I'll take
Which,
that from you.
honestly, I mean, look at this. We're at 11 movies, and we're 8
We're
out of
filling
11.
up.
We're 8 for 11. Pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
only one movie ever made its own little category so far.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm sure we'll get to a movie that I just will not like, and just be like, nope, this wasn't. There's like, I didn't think this movie was good. Pain. I mean, pain. Major Pain is just Major Pain. Unless we watch like one of the Twilight movies, maybe I'd have to put that down there. Don't ever fucking pick a Twilight movie. I saw the first one, and So
They are
bad.
such painfully boring movies.
I watched.
Which ones?
I saw the first one with the riff tracks on, and even with the riff tracks, it was hard to get through.
What movie?
Twilight.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like even going from like even ignoring all the like the vampire plot is stupid and everything else, all that other kind of stuff. They're just so boring. They're just such
Yes.
long-winded movies with nothing happening.
Yeah, just dreadful. But we have ranked the movie, and well,
Well, we have
this
nothing
was-
to talk about, but we will talk soon because our next movie is I
They
believe-
live. We're watching the movie this
Carl?
week, Wednesday, on the Corvus Twig, the Spooky VTubers Discord channel. We'll be watching that on Wednesday. I think probably around 7 p.m. Central, but it might, time's subject to change. And we will be talking about it in 1 week from today, but a little earlier in the day because our guest is one of those weird Europeans. And
Yeah,
she wants us to
Hiss,
do a
boo.
little earlier in the day. I'll have an announcement for that soon, so look out for that. And then we're going to be doing another spooky kind of Halloweeny movie at the Spooktacular, which is at the end of the month on the 27th. That's Sunday the 27th, if assuming the 27th is a Sunday. Yes, it is. Sunday the 27th. We're going to have spooky readings, playing spooky video games, an episode of Twigs Missing Movies. There's going to be so much. It's going to be great. Mia, anything you would like to plug before we pop out of here?
Not much. I've just got the Glow from Below going on, which is my month-long horror event where I, Mia, take over Kyria's channel and we play a bunch of mostly aquatic-themed horror games. Or as horror as we can get. One of them is Subnautica. You can argue about the horror of that all day.
There's
but-
some pretty scary parts of Subnautica.
It's
As someone with
Subnautica
a fear
below
of fish,
zero
the entire game
specifically,
was
yeah.
also very scary for me.
Mhm, mhm. But yeah, no, not much other than that. I've just got the Glow from Below going on, which you can check out on my channel every day in October. I'll be live, and there's a whole month-long schedule on my Twitter and in my Discord, and yeah, it'll be a good time.
All right, Dre, you gonna plug anything?
I don't really have anything to plug.
Wow. Then, well, if you're not following Dre Frag, then follow them. If you're not following the @Kyria Thanatos thing, you should follow that. And yeah, everybody have a great.
Thanks for joining us.
Yes.
And we'll see you on our next episode.
Yep, we're gonna go raid birdism.
All right, guys.
So we'll see you.
Have a good
all
night.
Next week.
Goodbye, everybody.
Eat some bird seed or something. I don't know. Whatever your hobbies are.
Peanuts. Everybody can eat peanuts except people with peanut allergies. And do we really have any of those around here? I don't think so. Do
Yeah.
vampires eat peanuts? As long as they're not garlic
No,
peanuts, I suppose.
because I think part of the whole vampire thing is that they can't eat human food anymore.
Well, that sucks. Blood. Bye!
Good lord.
And that's the show.